What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV, back at y'all with another one. So, tomorrow marks the date that undefeated three-division world champion, former junior welterweight, undisputed world champion, currently the WBO welterweight world champion, and is widely considered the #1 pound-for-pound boxer in the world, Terence Bud Crawford, as he takes on former IBF welterweight world champion, British superstar boxer, Special K, Kell Brook. They held the weigh-in today. They went back and forth, in which Kell Brook had a lot of things to say to Terence Crawford. Mainly, he told Terence Crawford, I'm going to rehydrate so big that you are basically going to be fighting a middleweight. So Terence Crawford got annoyed. He got frustrated. Terence Crawford stated, what you going to hydrate back up to? 160, 165, 170, 180? It don't matter. You could go up to 200 pounds. You could go up to heavyweight. It won't matter because I'm going to break you down tomorrow and I'm going to stop you. Kell Brook has been raving about the fact that this is not for the IBF sanctioned body, World Championship belt, and that when he held the IBF sanctioned body and he lost it to now undefeated unified WBC IBF welterweight world champion superstar boxer Earl the True Spence Jr., the IBF has a same-day weigh-in, and you cannot weigh more than 10 pounds from the previous weigh-in the day before. So today we have grown accustomed to having the weigh-ins the day before the fights. Back in the days, the weigh-ins used to be same day. Well, the IBF somewhat still holds on to that tradition as they have a weigh-in on Friday. But essentially, the IBF has two weigh-ins. They have a same-day weigh-in in which you cannot rehydrate after the initial weigh-in on Friday more than 10 pounds. And that's the sanctioned body Kell Brook was holding. That's the IBF strap that Errol Spence took from Kell Brook when Errol Spence decided to go over to the UK and strip Kell Brook of that belt. So with that said, Kell Brook is fancying the fact that he doesn't have to make that 10-pound restriction that the IBF normally places on him. And this is the WBO, so they don't have such restrictions, right? And so with that said, Kell Brook made weight. He made 147. Terence Crawford made 146.6. So they both made weight. Terence Crawford said that I'm going to rehydrate too, right? But he's not going to rehydrate as big as Kell Brook. If Kell Brook was already complaining about the 10 pounds from the IBF, he made 147 exactly at 147. So if Kell Brook is complaining about that 10 pounds, you have to believe and have to be under the mindset that Kell Brook plans to weigh far more than 157, because 157 the day of the fight is 10 pounds. Normally, fighters that fight at these type low weight classes, they don't get much bigger than 10, 12 pounds, right? You see guys like Manny Pacquiao, Floyd Mayweather, you know, they usually rehydrate about 150, 154, 153. That's pushing it, right? Sometimes they come in less than what they weigh. So Terence Crawford is one of those guys. Terence Crawford is not going to come into this fight in the high 150s and 160s. That's not going to be the case. Terence Crawford may gain 7 pounds tonight, right? He was 146.6. He may be 153 tomorrow. Kell Brook has all plans of becoming a full-fledged middleweight by the time they step in the ring tomorrow night. If, like I stated, the middleweight limit is 160. In these last couple of fights, Kell Brook has been fighting at 154, right? And the junior middleweight weight limit. That's where Kell Brook has been campaigning his last 3 fights. After he lost to Errol Spence back in 2017, he moved up to 154, and that's where he's been campaigning, right? And so he naturally, after coming in 154, he more than likely was coming in at 170, right? So this is what his body is used to rehydrating. So you best believe that tomorrow night, Kell Brook is looking to come in this fight a full-fledged middleweight at 165 at the least. He's looking to gain at least, I'm telling you guys, at least 15 pounds. Because like I stated, he was already complaining about the 10 pounds. So if he was complaining, if the 10-pound weight limit rehydration was a problem for Kell Brook, that would make him about 157, okay? If that was a problem, then you got to understand and believe that Kell Brook is going to come in this fight at least, at the very least, at 160, right? That's 13 pounds, okay? From what the way he's complained. So I could expect him to come in at 15 pounds, at least 162. So Kell Brook that's his confidence. That's where his confidence lies, as he stated that I'm going to be the stronger, bigger, stronger guy. And he also stated that I've been in the ring with better opponents, Errol Spence Jr. and Gennady Triple G Golovkin. He dared to be great when he fought Gennady Golovkin. He jumped up from 147 to 160, and he challenged Gennady Golovkin, who at the time was undefeated, was unified, and was one of the pound-for-pound best fighters in the world. He dared to be great from 147, challenged Golovkin at 160. A lot of people thought that it would be feasible, seeing as though Kell Brook is a very big welterweight. Terence Crawford let Kell Brook know, you only an inch taller than me, if that, right? And if you look at the photos together, actually Terence Crawford looks about the same size, or if not a little bit bigger than Kell Brook. But that depends on the footwear that they were wearing. Then he went, and Kell Brook stated that, Errol Spence. Errol Spence is a big welterweight. He's bigger than, he's about the same size as Kell Brook, right? Errol Spence is 5'9". They're about the same size, and they have a similar build, right? And if you look at the fight, they look very, very similar in the ring. Obviously, Errol Spence is a southpaw. Kell Brook is a orthodox fighter, but their build, their physiques, their muscle mass, Kell Brook and Errol Spence look very, very similar in the ring. And so, he stated that Errol Spence is a better fighter, so I've been in the ring with better fighters. Who have you been in the ring with of that magnitude? Then Terence Crawford said, well, they ain't me. Errol Spence, Gennady Golovkin is not me. He said, I know they better. That's what Kell Brook had to say, right? And he said, well, we going to find out, right? So Kell Brook stated, well, who you been in the ring like me? You never been in the ring with an opponent like me, right? And stylistically, neither of these guys have been in, well, more so Terence Crawford has been in with a Jeff Horn, and he's been in there with a Victor Post style. And they present similar type of challenges. And Jose Benavidez, very big welterweight. He's the biggest welterweight, Jose Benavidez. So they present similar. He's been in there with similar approaches of guys. Like I said, Jose Benavidez and Jeff Horn. Those are big, aggressive, come forward types of fighters. Jose Benavidez is 6 feet tall, so he's very big for the welterweight division. So with that said, we have seen guys in the ring with Terence Crawford that are similar to Kell Brook. Now, Kell Brook is more skilled. Kell Brook is more, technically sound. He just has more tools in the toolbox than Jeff Horn and Jose Benavidez and Victor Postol. But I have never seen Kell Brook at a high level, been in the ring with a slick guy like Terence Crawford. Also, another guy that Kell Brook made mention of was two-time welterweight world champion Showtime Sean Porter. He said, you never been in the ring with a Sean Porter. You never been in the ring with Gennady Golovkin or Errol Spence. I've been in the ring with the guy that you were looking to fight, which is the biggest fight in the sport of boxing, and that's you and Errol Spence. And that was a very close fight. You can see where the fight started to turn with Errol Spence and Kell Brook when he suffered the injury. But up until just right before, maybe around before he suffered that injury, you could see Errol Spence starting to make his presence known, right? Make his mark. And so he ended up stopping Kell Brook in the 10th round of their fight, 11th round of the fight, I believe. So it was a very close fight up until that point. But again, Errol Spence decided to be in front of Kell Brook. He decided to press forward and be aggressive and look to break down Kell Brook. So with that said, Errol Spence, didn't show a lot of versatility because he just didn't have the mindset to do that. He has the physical abilities to do it, as he showed us in other fights like the Mikey Garcia fight, where he just decided to box him from the outside and not just walk him down and pressure him and get him out of there. That was his game plan, Errol Spence's game plan with Kell Brook. So Kell Brook is the physical presence is something that Terence Crawford have seen before, but the slick boxing ability of Terence Crawford is something that Kell Brook has not been in the ring with. Not at this level anyway. Now, early in his career, there may have been some slick boxers he was in with, but they didn't possess the skill set, the tools that Terence Crawford possessed. Not to mention, Terence Crawford could switch from orthodox to southpaw. So, he has been in there with Sean Porter, but again, Sean Porter didn't choose to present the style of mixing it up and being a slick boxer. He decided to just be a pressure fighter. And so, he showed us that, Sean Porter showed us against Danny Garcia and against Yordenis Ugas that he could be versatile as well. But that's not, again, against Kell Brook, that's not what he presented. He didn't look to use a slick boxing style. He used a pressure style with Kell Brook. And that's not going to work with Kell Brook when you're Sean Porter. See, styles make fights. Kell Brook is big and strong enough to be able to offset Sean Porter's aggressive style. Now, Sean Porter would have presented the style he used when he fought Danny Garcia and Yordenis Ugas. I think he would have beaten Kell Brook. But nonetheless, he didn't. So, like I said, Kell Brook is looking to become a full-fledged middleweight, and that's where his confidence lies, because he believes that he's going to be too big, too strong, and too aggressive for Terence Crawford. And he highlights the fact that Terence Crawford was hurt by Igis Kavaluskas in his life fight, and ultimately he was dropped, but it wasn't officially a knockdown. And he was hurt by Yuriorkis Gamboa, so on and such, right? And so Kell Brook is pointing to that and saying, I'm going to be the bigger, stronger man in the ring. And like I said, Kell Brook is very excited that he can rehydrate to the level he wants to. So like I said, Kell Brook is coming in a full-fledged middleweight, but Terence Crawford's versatility, I believe, is going to be too much for Kell Brook. So let's see how this all plays out. But drop a comment in the comment section. Let me know what y'all think. Y'all already know what it is. It's your boy Blue, Blue Blood Sports TV. Hate, like, comment, and subscribe. You haven't subscribed? Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the bell icon to get all the new notification. Follow me on Instagram at Blue Blood Sports TV, all one word. Y'all already know what it is. Shout out to the entire LDBC. Shout out to New Media. Shout out to Black Media Row. Make sure you like and share these videos. That's all I got for y'all. Peace.